No, wait, let me say something. Let me say something.
Well, we are very quickly getting to the end of Matt James's season of The Bachelor. It feels like there was a lot of things that went down today, and this episode was really all over the map. Like we started with Heather and the Heather drama. We had ended up having 2 rose ceremonies. Like what did we send home, like 7, 8 women tonight? Like absolutely wild when you think about how deep we are into the process. 2 one-on-one dates, Abigail not getting a date all season long. Just absolutely wild. Might as well start at the start with the Heather drama. Honestly, I leave this feeling bad for Heather. I said before that I'm totally open for contestants on past seasons to come back and have another shot. If Heather didn't have to go through the quarantine and got in a little sooner, I think Matt would have given her a shot. I think Matt would have given her a chance. I think it was just that it was like, hey, it's this week and then hometowns. I think it was just too late in the process. If it wasn't for COVID and the quarantine, I think we would have definitely seen Heather get her chance on this show, because even seeing Matt send Heather home, he looked more torn up about that decision than he did for Jasenia. So while I do think there are some women who Matt definitely had very progressed relationships with, we're still at a point this week where there are women like Jasenia who just didn't have a relationship with Matt. Like, you look at who went home, like Serena C and Chelsea, there was just nothing happening there. And for Heather to have taken a spot away from one of those 3 women, I wouldn't have had any issue with that whatsoever. Now, the thing I did have an issue with was the way Heather was treated by the other women. We're just on the tail end of all of the Victoria drama, all of her fake little toxic crew that she was cruising around with. We just got rid of all of them. And then we have some minor degree of adversity in the house. And then we just had all these women, Piper, Serena C, Jasenia, and Kit, who were just absolutely vile towards Heather. And it felt extremely unwarranted, and everybody's acting like she's trying to steal something from them when ultimately it's Matt's decision. It's not like Heather just shows up and it's like, well, now she gets to marry Matt and we're just all out of luck. It's like, no, it's still Matt's decision, and it's up to him. So if you're that insecure about your relationship with Matt that you fear someone else coming in, with 4 weeks left in the season, that's more of a you problem than it is a Heather or a Matt problem. So I also found it interesting that of all those women that I listed, Piper, Serena C, Jasenia, and Kit, all of them went home today. The only one that sticks out is Kit, who decided to leave on her own terms, but thought it very interesting that all of those women who were really just behaving terribly, they got sent home. So from there, we go into a rose ceremony. No real surprises here. Serena C, she goes home. There was just no connection there. Chelsea, that's someone that I wish we would have at least got to see a one-on-one with Chelsea and Matt. I probably would have preferred to see her stay over Jasenia. But, if that's how Matt's feeling, that's his decision, and that's who goes home. All right, now into our actual dates for the week. Shockingly, our first one-on-one goes to Serena P. So this is her second date with Matt. I believe she had the first one-on-one of the season. I might be wrong there. but she had at least one of the first one-on-ones, and now here she is getting her second. As we were going through this, I was getting a little worried for her because she was seeming very, very awkward throughout the whole tantric yoga portion of the date. And I thought something was maybe wrong with their relationship, but it turns out Serena was just not down with the tantric yoga. She was not feeling it, didn't want to be a part of it. And she said, did it, never, don't want to do it again. We tried it, checked it off the bucket list, and it's gone forever. So Matt really seemed to like that, her just being honest that, everything doesn't have to be perfect. If you don't like something, you don't like something. And what's the point of lying about it? Like if she says, oh yeah, it was great, I had such a wonderful time, and now that's in Matt's head that Serena loves tantric yoga. We should do more tantric yoga in the future, when actually it's something that she hates, doesn't want to do ever again. Overall, I think Matt just really seems to like her. I don't think she's going to get the final rose at the end of this, but, her going to hometowns, I don't feel like that's a surprise at all whatsoever. So that's our first woman who will be heading to their hometown. Next thing I want to talk about is Abigail. How does she not get a date? She goes from first impression rose, goes all the way to hometowns, doesn't get a date. And they had good moments throughout the season, and to hear Matt, he was basically saying oh, well, I just really like you, so I decided not to take you on a date. And it's what? That is the whole point of the show. You go on dates with women you like. It's not about, well, maybe there's something here. It's not about just testing every flavor of ice cream. It's about exploring the relationships that you're most positive about and most confident in. So if Abigail was one of those people, Matt, you did yourself a disservice by not taking her on a date. And, leaving all that beside, I would be very happy to see Abigail as the Bachelorette. I think there are rumors out there about who the next is, but nothing confirmed yet. And I don't know, I think we're probably close to when they're supposed to probably start shooting the next season of The Bachelorette. So we're probably going to get an announcement on who that is as we get to the end of this season. And I'm really hoping that it's Abigail. I really liked her. I liked her all season long. Just seemed like a great person and someone that you want to root for. If that doesn't happen, I would very much like to see Abigail and Brendan from Tayshia's season do a little bit of matchmaking. Let's start a new show. It's like The Bachelor pardon me, The Bachelor Matchmaker, where we take contestants from past seasons and we hook them up. I'd watch that. I'm sure tons of other people out there would watch that. Let's do it. Let's get a matchmaker special from past contestants from The Bachelor and Bachelorette. On to the group date. Abigail got sent home, was not happy about that. I'm pretty sure you probably already were aware of that. But on that group date, Bree has some really good time with Matt. Kit has some really good time with Matt. Michelle has some good time with Matt. And then just what felt like out of nowhere to me, Rachel gets the rose. And to me, that says he really, really, really likes Rachel. And with everything that has gone on in real life over the past few weeks with Rachel, it's becoming very concerning. We're at a point right now in the Rachel saga outside of the show where Chris Harrison has now stepped aside from The Bachelor tape temporarily. He won't be part of, at least for the final rose. Whether he's part of the next season of The Bachelorette it still remains to be seen. And we've just gotten a statement from Rachel apologizing for her past behaviors. But I don't want to dwell on that too much. Let's continue with the show. So from here, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, I don't think Kit's going to get a rose, but how does she go from that conversation with Matt to not getting a rose? And soon after we had the answer to that question, when Kit goes to Matt's room to let him know that she is leaving. There was an interesting connection there between those two. I didn't feel like it was the strongest connection out of the women who are left, but it was a solid connection, and I thought she was definitely in contention for one of those hometown spots. But now we will not be seeing that, as Kit, she didn't feel like she was all the way in, so she pulled herself out. Now moving on to our second one-on-one of the week, Jasenia. And I have to admit, watching this date was painful. Everybody watching knew what the end result was going to be, and then we start to see all the signs that are always telltale signs that someone's going home on The Bachelor. The date isn't romantic. It's a fun date. They're driving cars, learning to drift. That's not something you fall in love doing. That's just not your typical thing to really connect with someone. Then we start to see all the cutbacks to the other women talking on the couch back at Nemacolin. That's also a telltale sign someone's probably going home. And then we get into their night portion of the date, and all the shots of Matt's face, and like, he looked sick. He looked like he was absolutely sick to his stomach, and nothing like the way he looked with our four women who are going to hometowns. As I said earlier, Matt looked more torn up about sending Heather home than he did Jasenia, but you could still see, like, he was not happy being in that situation. He didn't want to be there. He didn't want to force Jasenia through that situation, and it was just, really, it was just awkward and painful to watch. So from here, we head to our second rose ceremony of the night, where we will be determining who the final four women are. So Rachel already has a rose, Serena P has a rose, and on top of that, Bree and Michelle get the final two roses, with Piper being sent home. And I thought the way Piper left was really everything that you needed to know about Piper. As she's getting into the car, she just looked like a pouty little girl. And flip back to the start of the episode, where we saw her spitting vile at Heather Martin. That's not someone that you want to be in a relationship. You want someone you love or care about to be in a relationship with. And to me, that's just someone who's not mature enough or ready for a long-term committed relationship. Maybe another 5 years, maybe she will get there. But right now, what we saw was just a pouty little girl, and that's that. So I'm going to wrap things up for this week. That was a lot to get through. As always, thank you so much for watching, and hometowns next week. So I'll see you there.